and again tomorrow to make history, to fundamentally change the course of rural America. Now, and here's why. The U.S. cattle industry is the single largest segment of American agriculture, and it is vitally important to the rural economies of every rural community in America. But the cattle industry and the related economic opportunities in rural America have been in a severe state of decline for decades. Our cattle industry is shrinking. We're shrinking in terms of numbers. We've lost over 500,000 cattle operations since 1980. The cattle herd in the United States is now the smallest it's been since the 1950s. And contrary to what the industry is telling us about the productivity gains that we have indeed achieved in our industry, the production from beef produced from animals born, raised, and slaughtered in the United States of America for the past 14 years has been relatively stagnant, even in the face of growth in domestic beef consumption and in the face of increased export opportunities. Folks, these are signs of an unhealthy industry, an industry in severe crisis. This explains why we've seen Main Street businesses close. This explains why we see limited opportunities for our youth in rural America. This unacceptable condition exists in rural America because our United States antitrust laws and the Packers and Stockyards Act have not been properly enforced for decades. That our antitrust laws and Packers and Stockyards Act should have imposed upon the monopolization of our beef packing industry and against to prohibit the anti-competitive practices in our industry. The dominant meat packers for the last 4 decades have perfected their ability to capture control over the livestock production chain. They fully captured the poultry industry in the 1960s and 70s. They embarked upon capturing the live hog segment of the industry in the 80s. Since 1980, we've wiped out 90% of the independent hog producers in this country. And folks, now the beef packers are focusing on the last frontier. The last frontier is the largest segment of American agriculture. The last frontier is the U.S. cattle industry. And they're highly successful. An anti-competitive strategy is very straightforward. The first thing they do is they create a new economic risk for cattle producers. That risk is called market access risk. That's the risk that a producer will not have timely access to the market when his or her cattle are ready to sell. Once the packers create this new economic risk for producers, the next step is to solve the risk. They solve the risk by promising guaranteed timely access to the market, provided the producer is willing to sign the contract. So they encourage producers to leave the cash market, jump into alternative marketing programs, and as that cash market continues to thin, becomes less competitive, becomes highly susceptible to abuse of market power, folks, they continue to use that cash market to discover the price. And as a result of that ultra-thin cash market, the ability of the packers to stay out of that market and depress the aggregate prices of cattle, they lower the prices of cattle for everybody. Everybody in the cash market, everybody in the forward contracting industry, everybody in formula contracts. They lower the price for livestock regardless of how they're procured. That's how they lowered the price of hogs and eliminated 90% of the producers within just 30 years. And then the final step of this highly successful anti-competitive strategy, folks, is they convince the producers themselves that the cash market is outdated, it is antiquated, it is prehistoric. And as a result, producers have no other alternative. In order to avoid market access risk, they have no choice whatsoever, but to defend these alternative marketing contracts and watch as their industry continues to be captured. Ladies and gentlemen, the USDA and the Department of Justice must work aggressively to break this cycle of corporate dominance over the live cattle industry. We must immediately break the monopolization of the beef packing sector of the industry. We must stop the packers from creating this artificial market access risk. And ladies and gentlemen, we must preserve the integrity of the cash market and every other form of cattle procurement out there. And today will mark that beginning. You folks are here tonight to make history. You're here to come in and change the direction of rural America. Many of you have come long distances. And on behalf of each and every independent cattle producer in the United States of America, thank you and God bless.